Let me get my phone ready. Okay. All right, it's recording the slides because we had that. So just remember, after the intro page, say next slide.
Next slide.
And that gives me the cue.
Okay. Make sure like down here too, though. Don't go like this.
No, of course, I'll be right over here.
Sweet.
Say next slide and just talk slower. I mean, once we hit start, it's really hard, but here we go. Hello, I'm Landon Woolley.
Hi, my name is James Ediporminich.
My name is Daniel Martin, and this is Improving Registration Functionality for the Brigham Young University Idaho website. Next slide. First, the executive summary. Next slide. The current Brigham Young University Idaho website has many flaws, broken links, and an overall confusing layout. Our specific goal is to improve the course registration page. We plan to do this by streamlining the course selection pages and sign-up process, as well as resolving dead links. We will do this in 3 ways. Firstly, minifying by eliminating white space and condensing comments. Secondly, using external files that will have the browser cache them, saving memory. Thirdly, removing duplicate JavaScript and CSS files. Next slide. This project will cost $22,500. $2,500 of it will be used for the testing and checking, and another $20,000 for the process of making improvements. The developers are myself, Landon, and James. We need access and permissions, such as the school database and passwords, and the website itself will require programming, maintenance, and other such improvements. Next slide. The introduction. Next slide. Our specific goal is to improve the course registration page. We plan to do this by streamlining the course selection pages and sign-up process as we resolve dead links. This will result in a decrease in the time taken to perform class registration, and it will result in efficiency, and the class selection will decrease the sign-up time. Our team, which is myself and James and Landon, are students here at Brigham Young University, and we have a vested interest in the improvement of the school. We have experience in HTML, and we understand the necessary steps to take in order to achieve this project. Next slide. The current system used by the Brigham Young University Idaho is not as precise and streamlined as it could be, and the efficiency is key to our university's well-being. There are plenty of dead links that don't lead anywhere, and this is due to outdated information that is now irrelevant to current students and faculty, as well as to prospective students and parents. Students currently have to register for classes by going through each of the classes that they need to register for individually. This can be a rather difficult task that often results in students being unable to sign up for classes they need to or have to delay even another semester. Our goal for the registration page is to streamline it, as we have mentioned to before, and to decrease this time in minifying, using external files, and by eliminating duplicate files. This will result in efficiency and an easy-to-use interface that is much less complex. It will be accessible by both employees and students from the same interface, which will result in much more simpler and ease of access. And it will not require much training for the faculty or for students. Next slide. The problem summary. Next slide. The inability of students and faculty to register for classes efficiently and in a reasonable amount of time is an issue ever since the creation of their website. This has been a problem for prospective students and parents failing to smoothly and efficiently navigate the Brigham Young University Idaho website for information or registering for courses. As students, we understand and relate with our fellow classmates as they are frustrated at not being able to find the information they want or need, which causes them to be discouraged from possibly future enrollment, and they may lose trust in the university and seek to go somewhere else. Students, for solving this problem, we will help students better apply for classes and enable them to find critical information in regards to classes. Making improvement to the website is a great project to implement for our skills, which we have been learning throughout our time. Next slide.
The objectives. Next slide, please. At the conclusion of the project, there will be smoother and faster class registration time for students to get the class they need for graduation. Parents and prospective students access information on the Brigham Young University, Idaho website. According to their needs, enrollment will increase. Faculties and teachers alike will better use the website to assist their classes and students in improving the curriculum in their classes. Next slide, please. So the goals, as Daniel stated, will be three things. There will be one, to minify the code by eliminating white space and condensing comments and loops and recursion. This is done simply by really looking through the codes and condensing maybe redundant coding or anything that could be taken out that is possibly useless or with a very minimal use. Number two is using external files that will have the browser catch them. That's right. This will free up memory and will therefore speed up the process of the processes in the website. And therefore, this will help the functionalities of the website run smoother. Number three, eliminating the duplicate JavaScript and CSS files. We sometimes coding, there are unnecessary files that aren't being used or that are used more than once or twice, and which is unnecessary. By eliminating these duplicate files, that we can save space and save the efficiency of the code itself. Next slide, please. This one, we'll remap the link to make quicker and more accurate navigation for the user. In the figure you see on the presentation slide is the new registration page that we achieved by reprogramming and testing. As we resolve dead links by debugging and testing them, there'll be a smoother and easier transition between web pages. As you can see on this web page, that everything is simple and clear, and there's no redundancy in the data and in the information presented. Next slide, please. Plans. Next slide, please. Planning and updating the interface of the current Brigham Young University Idaho website through coding, which is what Landon, Daniel, and I myself will be doing. We'll be using our skills as coding students, software, computer science students, to be able to use our knowledge in computer languages to code. In this case, it would be through HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Also, we'll run through the website and come up with strategies to improve the navigation experience. We'll be able to go through and see what could be improved and what we can keep to really make it easier for users to use the BYUI website. Next is we'll get approval to move forward once we have data to show efficiency. We'll have to run through everything and get approval from the school and from faculties to be able to show that these changes will be beneficial to the school and to the users. Next is make changes to the existing structures, design, and interface of the site and perform tests. We'll do what we need to recode and to upgrade the existing code that is there now. We'll be testing it with a small group of users and determine the effectiveness of the changes taking place. Next slide, please. In this slide is the Gantt chart. The project will have a planned construction date for a year to complete the planning alone. The final completion of improvements to the Brigham Young University Idaho website will be done within 2 years from the started date, including all the alterations to the code and the possible delay due to the high activity during registration periods for each track. From this chart, we can see that each process will have a testing phase to it. That about halfway through the process, that will begin the testing phase to test the efficiency and the usability of whatever we're working on. As you can see from the Gantt chart as well, that this whole process will take 2 years upon completion. That through this process that we can minimize the error, and we can truly test out all the functionalities of the changes that we will be making to make sure that it is the most beneficial and the most efficient for the school itself. Next slide, please.
Number 6 is budget. Next slide, please. The total cost after paying people and getting the right workers for our project is going to be $22,500, as Daniel stated. $2,500 of these dollars will be used during the testing and checking process. We will be paying the programmers an hourly rate of about $9.75. Each team member will work for 8 hours a week. This process includes testing hundreds of links if the load times are sufficient. Programmers will also have to experiment with different web browsers to see if the website works in each one. So it'll be a real phase to have to see if it works in Safari, then open it up in something like Google Chrome or Firefox, and also test these on mobile support, see if they work on iPhones and Androids and all sorts of other phone web browsers, because the layout is so different on a screen that small. Another $20,000 of the total cost will be used in the process of making improvements through the coding and debugging. This part is the most expensive portion of the project due to the amount of time and work that is put into the web development. The costs are fair for the amount of time and work that will be spent. We will be saving the university money in the long run as they continue to grow, and that less money will be spent hiring developers to work on the website. Also, as we streamline the registration process, more students will be able to enroll in classes they need, which will speed up graduation time. The website is especially important due to the growing number of online and pathway students that the school accommodates each year. The school's current website has a bogged down signing up process. So if we can get students to be able to access their courses more easily, and the teachers and faculty, if they had a more streamlined way of accessing the students' information, everything from grading assignments to receiving your grade will be made easier. Next slide, please. Another $20,000, all right, this is not good. We're gonna cut it right here, which is fine, because I already read this thing. I'm just want to edit this video. I'm just going to cut out this portion right here while we decide what to do with it. Yeah, I've done it before.
Okay.
Okay, so hold up.
Because we're working at what, 13?
Which is fine.
We're at 13 minutes. I can drag this out for 7 minutes. If I do 1 minute a slide, we're fine. So I just read this though.
Are you sure it'll cut out nice though? It'll look smooth, like it won't.
I guarantee it will look smooth.
It'll be fine.
Man,
yeah,
it'll
be fine.
Good. It'll look good. If anything, it's just gonna look like connection error. While I'm saying this, let's make sure it's still filming.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, it doesn't even say how long we are.
No, it doesn't.
All right, so I already said that. I just need to
explain.
say.
Just explain the this is the pie chart
Oh,
of the
okay,
budget.
yeah.
Just like yeah.
Okay, so
As
in
you
the
can
video,
yeah.
I'm gonna look for this big waving hand to know signaling that we're starting. Here we go. I need you on point. This chart that you see here displays how much money is going into the developing process and how much money is going into the debugging process. As you can see, there's $20,000 going into the coding and debugging portion, because that is going to take up almost all the time of this website's life. Now the other $2,500 is going into the testing and checking phase. This will take a long time, but it's not going to be nearly as long as how long it's going to take to start the coding of the website, to find out all the bugs that it holds, because that seems to be something that will take up a lot of time, is finding all the bugs and dead links that a website holds. Next slide, please. Personal and qualifications. Next slide. The team members, as we've stated, are James, Landon, and Daniel. James Ithapornvanich will be the project manager. The project manager is going to, The project manager is going to be the one who's making sure that the assignments and activities are all coordinated according to each individual's. Landon Woolley will be the testing manager. This person will be in charge of performing all tests and codes that are executed. Daniel Martin will be the design and budget manager, making sure that we are within our spending limit, as well as overlooking the design of the code and structure of the website. All of the members will be contributing as developers and writing codes for the project. All students have programming experience, including many programming languages, and project platforms are highly motivated to finish the work as they sign up for classes. Each member of the team has accomplished many projects and has the motivation required for completing a mission as difficult as this. These individuals are very familiar with the needed skills to accomplish the task. They are familiar with all the resources available to them to finish the project in a timely and efficient manner. Next slide, please. Here's an example of minification. When we remove white space, we can increase the speed at which the program runs the code. For example, when you see a website that's filled with lots of unused space, or something that has a lot of text in one position and then has too much empty space underneath and you have to scroll far to reach the next portion of the website, this is a very inefficient way of creating a website. For the school, we could fix this by utilizing every inch of the user's screen. And for mobile support, instead of cramming as much as we can onto a small device, we can spread it out in a long manner, as phones are much easier it's much easier to look at phones when you can scroll down rather than side to side. Next slide, please. Facilities and equipment. Next slide. We will require computers with an Intel i5 processor to write code in web languages. We will also require workspace to perform the work without distraction and interruption. Each team member possesses the necessary equipment to accomplish the task and to put out a professional product. Each member will be able to coordinate their efforts and come to a completion of the project within the time projected. Although sometimes with group projects, it is easy to get distracted or carried away because of the number of people in said group project. With just the three of us and others working on debugging phases, it will be easy to stay focused, seeing as we have a tight-knit group and everybody can communicate efficiently. There should be no problems with talking to other team members. That's something that's easily worked out. And with that being said, it will be easy to conduct an efficient website. Next slide, please. As the website itself requires programming and maintenance and improvement, the needs of this project are not vast and will not require the most strenuous sources. It's not as if we're creating a business and starting off something from the ground. We have something to work off of, although we will be improving it drastically. With that being said, there is of course a requirement of experienced users so that the website doesn't end up being just as bad as the website that we are trying to fix. Of course, we don't want to spend too much time on a small problem But we do want to fix that problem no matter what it is. We don't want to go into this project with a goal in mind and not be able to reach it. We will solve every problem that we have seen and improve as many of the problems and increase the functionality as we can. We as the developers are confident that this project will not only be finished in the time that we have set for ourselves, but it will be finished in a professional manner that makes the old site seem like ancient history. Of course, the internet and all websites are always improving, and that's what we want for the Brigham Young University website. We want something that will not just last a year, or maybe 2 or 5 or 10. We want a website that will be able to be improved as time goes on. We want to increase the functionality as it is now and be able to increase it efficiently as the days go on. So when there are a whole new group of people working on this in future, we'll be able to pass on the knowledge that we have and have them be able to improve it on their own without the need of us being there next to them and the original people working on it as well. Next slide. Thank you so much for watching our video. We hope that you have enjoyed it and learned a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not.
Holy crap, that was so hard. All right, kill it.